Well, I want to say welcome back, everyone. We have a special edition today of the Sean Trey Show. This is kind of just not even the Sean Trey Show. This is us coming together to talk with a friend to talk about a passion project that we want to draw attention to and hopefully get people to participate in helping fund and contributing to. Now, Amy, tell me, what are we here to talk about today?
Yes, I'm raising money to release an album next summer with Chance McCoy. He was a former member of Old Crow Medicine Show. He's Grammy Award winner in the Americana sphere. And so, yeah, I'm crowdfunding to raise that album. It's going to be a full studio album, my first full studio album, meaning I'm going to have a full band on every song that is appropriate, and really do this thing and use this as an instrument to knock on, that whole new level, that next tier of doors. Really,
that's awesome. No. Well, tell me about the story about how you came to this point. Like, you had said that there's a really interesting story about how you had created an album before that was kind of a calling card that got you to this point. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in November of 2019, I guess not taking you too far back, I was in a band for a very long time as the lead vocalist. I was the only female in the band. And it was me and six other guys, or five other guys. It was kind of a collective. If you wanted to come in and be a part of the Many Nights Ahead show that evening, you could. And we were a jam band. And that was a lot of fun, right? But that's a very niche. It was genre bending. It's in your face. It's all of these things. And so in November 2019, I had these songs that I'd written over my life, honestly, throughout college and everything, that I had found again within my voice memos. And I was thinking, like, I don't want to give these to the band. I don't really want them to be pulled. They're more of a singer-songwriter, stripped down. And so really I just grew a pair and was like, I'm gonna put out a solo album, I guess. And this was the first time I'd ever done music. I didn't have a solo Instagram page. I didn't have a solo Facebook page. I didn't have, I was Many Nights Ahead, which is my band's name, and then people knew me as a musician, but I didn't have I don't know what it was. I think I was afraid, probably, to step out on my own, and, leave the comfort of having an established band, that works, but I did it because it was calling. I was called to do it. And as much as I loved and had fun with that band, there was a part of me the part of my artistry that wasn't being fed. And I felt like this album was a way to kind of really take a look into exploring that for myself, like allowing myself to explore solo artistry. And COVID opened that up because I started in November 2019. And my buddy, Ryan Clark Slocum, he graciously joined in as my producer and right-hand man. And we just made this album together. And so I asked for $5,000 from my community to fund the studio space. And then Ryan and I just went in there and DIY'd it ourselves. So we spent, we had this beautiful studio, Blue Sprocket Sound in Harrisonburg, Virginia. That was a cattail that just put in front of my camera. But yeah, Blue Sprocket Sound in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And we just till 2 or 3 in the morning, just putting down as much as we can ourselves. He plays piano. I was playing all these different instruments, pulling in studio musicians, AKA my friends from the community, as needed. And we really we put together this authentic, stripped down acoustic singer-songwriter album that I felt like is what you're going to hear from me live when you walk into a room. And that was important. And so that was what that project looked like for me. And then I put it out March of 2020, perfect timing. Everything shut down. And then I was left to say, wow, you did this. It was like this, you're doing it. yeah, you know, like, like honestly, you know, like, cause, and so I appreciate my community in that too. Right. Because they're like, I mean, they went through a pandemic as well.
Right.
Like they, you know, and they funded that album and they got that for me. And then they gave me the grace when it was like, oh, okay, I can't really actually do anything about this. But I guess what I'm here to say is that like, I did do something about it in that I might not have been able to officially have, like, I don't think I ever had like an album release show, like still for my last album because of COVID, but, and I'm now making my next one. But, that album, literally, I wouldn't be here talking to you today if that album didn't exist. Because I mean, what else have I been attaching to every email and like every show request and what have folks been bumping in their Spotify and playlisted and you know what I mean, like all these things. And so I guess I'm feeling a lot of gratitude this time around because now I'm asking for like double the money, and for an album that is going to open up double the opportunity. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And but that's a lot of trust. So like now I'm going back to that same group of people, right? Because I just moved from Virginia. I've got folks out here in Colorado that have been supporting me too, you know, fans and friends and all of that. But I'm basically hitting up this same cohort of people saying like, hey, it's happening again.
Right.
I thought I arrived last time. This, you know what I mean? Like it's the next arrival.
So tell me, why is this album important to you? Why are these?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are these songs important to you?
Yeah. So I'll start with album because songs are.
All right, let's go to album first.
Yeah. Album is important to me. I don't know. I have this. It's this like. How do you like catch up everyone on this like life bending internal shift that you had? That's fundamentally changing the way that I approach the things that I do. You know, that's why I guess I'm starting to believe in myself. I trust myself. I am starting to say, everyone else is knocking. Why can't I knock? And, allowing myself to believe in me and saying like, this is it. This is the next move. And I can see it. I'm envisioning it. I'm feeling it. The momentum, the energy, the flow. All I need is the resource, you know? Yeah. And I think that those that know me know that. I think they know, I think they know that I don't just do things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty intentional, and this album feels really intentional to me, and that's why it's important. I plan on, like I was saying with my first album, it was supposed to be stripped down and authentic and just like, hey, this is what you're getting when you book me. And, you know, this time around, it's taking it a step further to say like, this is what my mind and my artistry can create given the space and opportunity. So it's like, you know, it's like I'm going in and really like having basically dream album situation, right? Of like, I'm going to do a full band album now. And my hope is, and these are going to be with professional studio musicians that are musicians full time, and they're going to help me, you know, dream up, and Chance is going to help me produce this thing. And the hope is that I have this album that actually, that's the only answer, that I will have this album that I am proud of, and that Chance is proud of, and that the community is proud of, that then I can go and like form my own band that will play these songs with me, and I can get into those larger venues and those opening acts and stuff. Because as a solo artist, there is no limit, right? But I'm saying like logistically, I guess within the local music scene, like you have to think like if I were Brandy Carlisle, it wouldn't, you know what I mean? Or whatever, like being a solo artist, you can be a solo artist once you get there. But within the realm of, and not that I'm interested in that in particular, I'm just saying in the scape of the music industry, you can only book so many gigs with just you and your guitar. Yeah. Even though when I'm there, they love it, you know what I mean? And whatever. And I come back, but it's just, you need more oomph to say, yeah, let me open for these guys that are full band.
Well, it's also like a collective power.
I'm trying to get there.
Like like, you know, the power of one person is this, but you know, when you magnify that by a group of people that are coming together for a collaborative thing, there's a lot of energy that comes together with that, you know. So it's power that you have to create.
And quite honestly, like I went from a genre bending bluegrass jam band. Like I love making music with other people. Like I can't tell you what I love more. I don't know if I love performing, but I love making records. I love making music with each other people. And I love having personal autonomy. Like, oh, you play the banjo, lay that shit.
Right.
Lay that shit. And you know what I mean? And then, and that energy. And so it's like, that's what this album is going to be too. And the fact that it's taking place in West Virginia, which is real close to Virginia, I can pull my guys up. Like I can pull. And so it's going to be like, I got chills talking about it because it's like, I set out, it's like, what's the difference between these two albums? Less fear, more intention.
Oh, I love that. Sometimes we undertake something and we don't know if we're necessarily going to be able to pull it off. And then once we do, we're like, wow, I wish I had have been able to put more into that because I didn't even know if I was going to succeed, but I did succeed. And so it's like almost like this second round, you already know you can do it now. And now you want to see how good you can make it. Because if you have and not that the first one wasn't polished, but if you have a more polished, more refined project, it's definitely something that you can start going, this is who I am. You know? Right.
And that's it too. Like this is so multifaceted. So I appreciate, like, I feel like you hit the nail on the head. But we need this conversation like that because it pulls my thoughts and all this going on. But there's that part of me too that's like, this is an opportunity for me to. I'm an Americana singer-songwriter, meaning like I'm influenced by roots, Appalachia, Motown, jazz, blues, you name it, rock and roll, and so it's tough for me when I am genuinely that drawn to that many different kinds of music. It's tough within the music industry, the big sphere. It's tough to navigate. And so I feel like I too, that first album helped me figure out what feels good for me. Yeah. And now with that ever growing confidence in okay, I can do it. Now, how am I writing my songs? Now, the further I'm away from that bluegrass genre bending band too, is like that no doubt influences my writing and who I am, right? Like, how do you go from like nearly 10 years to like of that to, you know what I mean? And so like that album really helped me come into myself I'm learning myself as a songwriter. And that's why I'm like, I have to talk to you about the album because I'm not willing to peg down songs yet. Like I do, there will be a minimum of 7 songs on this album. We're like $300 away from being able to make that happen. Meaning my studio, the actual hours will be funded to go in and lay this track. That doesn't mean that it's funded. Then that's another thing I think if people are, that doesn't mean that it's into your ears, but it means that it will exist, which is really dope. And I have 7 songs, and if I had to choose today, I would be stoked to make this album. But at the same time, ever since I've started this crowdfunding journey and I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing this. That momentum, like I've already written 2 more songs. Like, I don't know, like they might get bumped. You know what I mean? Like, so like the 7 songs that are great today, like I hope it's already a hard decision and I haven't even written them yet. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that like when the time comes, I hope that Chance is willing to help me with song selection. That's something that I would be down to take a look at too. It's going to be difficult to choose, but it's also going to be, but that's what it comes down to is what's most authentically me, what most feels like authentically me as my own self, but me as an artist. And what can folks connect to? You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into giving away the most personal parts of yourself.
Right.
It's also like the most meticulous,
right,
psychological, like people, basically how do you put out your purest form, but make it play the game.
Talk to me about working with one of your inspirational like heroes in the music industry. Talk to me about like how much that is important to you to be able to work with Chance McCoy.
Yeah. So, Chance, it's kind of crazy. We touched on this a little bit last time, but, I was in that genre bending bluegrass band. Prior to that, I wasn't really fully aware of the multitude of the genre of Americana roots music. I was 18 when I started, so I've been in, and I'm 28 now. So, been heavily involved in the genre now for many years, but I was first introduced to Chance McCoy, not literally, but I went to an Old Crow medicine show concert with my band back in the day, in Charlottesville, Virginia. And they were the main act. It was them, the Lumineers, nice. and Pokey Lafarge. And my ticket was like awesome. $25. Yeah. And it was so dope. Like and then at the end, they all came on for a combined set of like awesome. The Lumineers, Pokey Lafarge, and Old Crow. Yeah, it was so dope. And so I was really new to that whole, I was new to Old Crow. I was new to all of this. But I remember him standing out on stage. Like I remember particularly like me watching him as a musician. And the Old Crow loves my banjo player, Walker Turner's family has a ham business out in Foxborough, Virginia called Turner Hams. And it's a long family business, phenomenal ham.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal little store. And they do a lot around the holidays, obviously, and Old Crow loves their ham. And so it's like kind of been a thing that we knew as we were this scrappy college band making our first album back in 2012. We were putting our album in with the ham that was getting sent, you know what I mean? So like, so honestly, like I think it's kind of funny that like that is, and I have never even talked to Chance about this, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but, that's my experience. Like that's how I know of Chance McCoy is like my degree of separation is around like ham and like sending cookies and stuff, And so, and what's funny is like, then now years later, I just send this guy an email saying like, hey, you don't know me, but, I'm from the same area, as you, and here's a song about that area. And I'm trying, I don't know. I just feel called to work with you. It all comes down to that for me. I wish it was sexier. I wish it was prettier than that, but it was, I had 3 places out of Nashville asking to help me make my album. And it became one of that fear versus intention thing. Like, do I just grab onto that studio because they want me and I can, and I heard a yes without having to ask. And then I thought like, if it's something that's important as my music, that doesn't feel right. I need to really look into this. And so I did. And the more I looked into it, the more capable I felt. And that's how it was. I found Chance's, I found what seemed to be a contact for Chance. And I was just like, I was looking into him as a producer and really, so him as a musician, obviously he's so phenomenal. I mean, he plays like so many instruments. He's phenomenal. Great work with, great songwriter, great, all of these things, Grammy Award winner. I mean, has worked with my heroes, like, you know what I mean? Even, further, the Avett Brothers and The Devil Makes Three and Brandi Carlile. And, I mean, his roster is my playlist, which is really dope, but, to then see just the conversation that I had with him, the small conversation I had with him, to see his intention. It felt like honestly, it felt like I was talking to my buddy Ryan again. Yeah. Like that's the flow. Like that's the energy that was like I trust him. It's like, okay, he's about the music. That's what it is. He's about the music. Chance is about the music. And that's why I know this album's going to be badass. If I was raising this money for like a demo shop out of Nashville, it'd be exciting, but it'd be different. There would be this, like, I hope
it turns out good.
I hope it's me by the end of it. And with Chance, and with Chance, he was saying, not even I hope it's me, but like, I don't want a demo just to have a demo. You know what I'm saying? And so I want an album. You
don't know what you're going to get. Like, it might be great, but you don't know what you get. But with Chance, you have a clear expectation of what you're going to get and a clear,
It's the heart. It's the heart too.
Well,
Yeah, I know we're some cool shit's gonna go down in West Virginia.
I believe that
It's gonna be really cool.
And what I really love is that the one thing that really inspires me about this story that you keep, that I keep coming back to is you took a chance to try, and like that's a huge thing. It's like some of the best things in life or some of the most magical things in our lives can come out of just taking a chance to ask for something that we want, and to reach out, to connect to a person you might not feel like you have access to, but then you take that chance and you get access, you get into connection with them, and that's powerful.
Oh yeah. And I think too, like, and maybe it's not naivety, I don't know, but it's helped me. Like if somebody were like, Amy, like, I'm an artist too. Like what's this shift about? Like bluntly, I'm like, they are equally, like, put yourself in their shoes as much as you can. Yeah. Like they are equally as approachable, equally as much of a musician as you are.
Yeah.
And if that is true, then what do you know about yourself in that, like, above all else, like helping someone's vision come to life within their creative form, and like feeling somebody's heart, and like being, you know what I mean? And like that's why we all do what we do, right? Is that connection. And so, don't be so afraid to ask for, like, I'm literally like, this is meta, I guess, or weird, and it just came to me, but it's like, I'm like, hey, musician, will you music with me? Right. you know what I mean? But like, and that is a scary thing, right? Because they're like, oh, no, I don't want to music with your music person. You know what I mean? But that is the fear, right? But silly. It's silly. So silly. Because once I realized, I'm like, oh, we're wanting the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just an ask. It's not whatever. It's just an ask. And it's worked out.
It's an ask, but it's also like that. You have to have a couple of things. You have to have the willingness to ask. You have to have the courage to ask. And then also you have to have the vision that you come with, because if you don't have that vision, I'm sure he agreed to do it because of the vision you brought, because of the music that you brought, because of the ideas that you brought. And I think that's important to have that vision. Now, what are some of the stories, not songs, but what are some of the stories that you'd like to tell on this album? What are some of the vibes that you'd like to go with?
Ooh, yeah. All right.
Right.
It is before 10 a.m. on a Sunday. You're putting me to work. I'm like, what are the stories I'd like to tell? Okay, so without giving away too much.
Themes. What are some topics that you'd like to touch on?
I'm thinking about the songs that I already have written, and it really just comes down to this like momentum, this energy that I've been feeling surrounding my move to Colorado, and since I've been here, and this album and these songs. There's this like this Kool-Aid man like energy of just like, like I'm here, you know what I mean? Like, like breaking through the door, and in what
I love that.
So it's more so it's that energy. So it's like this song is about being like there's these songs. I have songs about loss. I have songs about realization and love. I have songs about anger and political sphere. I have songs, I think it's really, so it's not so much I'm crafting it thematically in like a beginning, middle, and end, of more so of like, I'm taking this energy, this intentionality, this Kool-Aid man, whatever you want to call it, and I'm injecting it into these different spheres of expression. Like I wrote my first song on piano this month. I normally write on guitar and then I'll pull it to piano or whatever. But I sat down to write it, and it was from a space that I was having a conversation with somebody who I felt seen with for the first time in a long time. And I was hearing from them that they felt seen from me too.
That's awesome.
And we were just sharing experience. And really what it came down to was this realization of like, all I want is this. And it's like, well, all I am is this. And I just want somebody to not snuff me out. And like, it was that it was the being seen and held by another person without the expectation of being changed or expectation at all. And like I came home and wrote it around the metaphor of dancing with somebody, just asking someone to dance. Then like, okay, you want to dance? I want to dance. Let's dance. Let's do this thing. And it's ended up being this song about loving somebody else. But in that, it was like, if I changed the pronouns or the perspective to it was a song of self-love. It was like, it was that realization of like, I'm holding space for me now too. I'm dancing with myself as well. Like, I don't need to wait for somebody to ask me. Like, you know what I mean? And like, that sounds really cliche and whatever. And so that's a song that's on the album. I don't know what it's going to look like or what it's going to feel like. I don't know really. I can't really name that theme yet. It's a song that people are going to want to dance to. It's a song that, it's just, I love it. I love it. It's one of those songs where I can feel it exiting my fingertips. If you play the piano, you know what that feels like, that energy of that transfer. And that is the theme of the album, is that like that level, every song, I want every song to feel that for me. It might be a small album. We might only be able to afford to do 7 songs.
Yeah.
But that's the kicker. That song will be on the album. It ain't getting bumped. You know what I mean? And so same thing, like, and it's that energy, it's that theme of authenticity, of self-expression, of trust, of loving yourself. You know what I mean? This breaking free of what you should do versus what you could do. I think it's all about this perspective shift for me. And I think that's going to come alive in this album to say like, I don't know. And that means a lot of opportunity. And
it's almost like an act of
I'm
faith.
Here for it. Let's roll in it. Let's roll in this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's it. That's what I want to do. I'm putting it all out. Let's roll in it together.
You ever remember the old Indiana Jones and the Temple of, not the Temple of Doom, and the Last Crusade, the one with Sean Connery and Harrison Ford?
Yes.
And there was like this, they get to this leap of faith, you must take a leap of faith. And there was this bridge that you couldn't see, and you just had to step out onto it, and then the bridge caught you. But like, you couldn't see the bridge until you took a step. And once you took a step, you could see that there was this really weird bridge. It brings me back to that too. Like, sometimes we don't have the answers. We don't know what a project is going to end up looking like. We don't know where it's going to go, but you have to take the step and then see where it goes,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I've this is the energy. The energy is like, I have a buddy that just inboxed me the other day, musicians hit me up and they're just like, hey, like, can I pick your brain on this? Or like, and that's what's dope. What's happening in the music industry. I do the same thing, and we were chatting and, it came to the album, and I just completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just lost it. Yeah, somebody messaged me on Instagram asking about something that we were just talking about. Lost it.
About a leap of faith?
Yes. Oh, right. Leap of faith. Right. Thank you. Yeah. So he was saying like, how, like, I feel this shift in you, because he's from Harrisonburg. So he's like, I feel this shift from you. It just feels kind of like, it feels like you're just doing it. You just understand it. Like you just got it down. I started laughing. I was like, no. I don't. But that's dope that like, you're seeing that. Like he's saying like, what are you doing? How can I do that? And it's like, I'm not doing anything differently. I'm just taking the chance. I'm saying like, if I'm tired of pretending like I'm not actually trying this thing, I guess. Right. Yeah. Like, is that kind of what it comes down? Maybe I'm not like, I'm not trying it in that, like, I don't have an end goal. Like that was the thing. He was like, what's your end goal? I feel like I just don't have the end goal. And that's why I'm feeling like I'm spinning out a little bit. And I'm like, I don't have an end goal. Like the way that I am approaching this, and because I find the most energy in this and the way that it serves me the most, is I have arrived. I've made it. I've made it now. Like the first album was it. This album is it. This show is it. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. That's, I keep right there, that one day at a time mentality of like, of what's the next attainable thing. Mm-hmm. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I ain't worried about, I don't even know where it ends or if it ends, or I don't care.
Yeah.
What I'm just trying to get what's right in front of me. And that's more empowering, right? Like if I were to say, I mean, that's the difference between being like, Whitney Houston loves to sing and Whitney Houston's going to be Whitney Houston. I mean, if Whitney Houston knew she was going to be Whitney Houston, that's a tall order. That might be something that somebody might be like, oh, I don't know that I don't know that I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. But if you wake up every day and you're like, you know, I'm doing me, I'm doing what moves me, I'm doing the next right thing for me. You know what I'm saying? That, I don't know, just bite-sized chunks.
I love that.
So people try to swallow this whole thing, you know, your whole dream, your whole life, and it's unmanageable. For me, it's about manageability and serenity. And when I start widening my scope, who am I?
Right.
Why should I plan for? It's like, who am I? I'm not God. You know, I don't know. Yeah. Like it sounds like a whole lot of worry and a whole lot of waste of time. I'm just going to put my energy where I can make a change and make an impact today. And if that's posting on a social media post, if that's, you know, writing a song, if that's booking a show, if it's not booking a show, that's something I'm thinking too. Like, you know, hey, do you need time? Do you just, you know, what are you're doing versus being? Like, are you taking care of yourself? It's a balance, but I think it's less doing and more being.
I like that. Well,
do less,
but also break down that wall when you do it.
Right. Intentionality, right? Like do less. And then when you do it, do it.
Right.
And I think that's the same. And that what you were talking about, like with, you know, jobs and stuff is like, it's like, okay, if I want to be a whatever XYZ, I might as well just stop fooling around and own it and be like, okay, you know, I want to be a podcast host. Well, I'm not going to apply for the mom and pop shop down the street because I know I'll be able to get it. I'm applying, you know, at Apple. You know what I'm saying? Like you, and of course, like, and I appreciate you calling me out really and saying like, hey, that takes those three things, right? That courage, that intentionality, like, you know what I mean? Like there, like, I think there is some credit due. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just happen, right? You have to have what it takes or empower yourself to have what it takes to achieve this. That said, I'm tired of like, oh, no, I'm not going in. I'm not walking through the door. You go first. It's fine. I'm just like checking out. I'm just checking out if I want to walk in. Now I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm going. Let's Kool-Aid man this door. Like, nah, yeah, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about that. That's literally what that is. And that's what this album is for me too. And so, yes, I know it's a stupid amount of money, like dumb. And I know that like, it's a lot of trust for me to just be like, hey guys, Venmo me some money today. But we're doing it, right? And that's what's another shift that's really cool about this is that first campaign was a lot of large donations.
Yeah.
That got me there. This one, and I've kind of like, I've approached this campaign differently too. That first one, I had like a ton of video content. I had a ton of like, I was doing it by the book. And then this time I'm just like, I think it's this escape. I think it's just where the world is. It's like, I can't unknow what we all know. Like there's a pandemic going on. There's COVID. People some of them are in their financially the worst situation of their lives. Some are their best. Some, you know, everyone is experiencing what's causing my fundamental shift within my music is I would be amiss for me not to recognize that it's causing a fundamental shift in everyone, in everyone's lives. And so like, how can I approach something that is full of hope and is ultimately for me in a way that recognizes where everyone is. Like, so I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm not asking for big donations. I'm asking for $5, $10 this time. I'm grassrooting it. I'm Bernie Sandering this, and it's on purpose.
I'm once again asking you guys too.
Right. I $1, $2. No, but like it's you know, it's on purpose, and it's because that's the space that I'm in too. I'm in this gentle, like authenticity, like, I'm just going to tell you what I need, and I'm going to tell my authentic truth. And then like, you tell me your authentic truth. And if you can help me, that's cool. Like, I know that might not be the best tactic for fundraising, but
it's truth. But it's true.
I can't. And I'm a marketer too. So I know, like, literally my job is to make money through asking people for it. And so it's like, I can, if you wanted me to go that way, you know what I mean? I can pop out a spreadsheet and we can do this thing, but this is sacred. It's different. It's different. It's less, obviously it's the album, and that's and that might not be a good fundraising tactic either, but it's authenticity, right? The album is happening no matter what. Okay. Because I'm 28 and if I have to, pay off my album, whatever, that's fine. Over time, like worst case scenario. But I want to do it with you guys, because that's what I'm musicking with you. That's right. I'm going to turn into a verb, right. Like I want to do it this way. Well, and so,
that's the cool thing.
I'm not asking I'm just asking for people to do what they can.
You had on there like these different things, like, and it wasn't just like, give me money. It was literally like, help me create this, be part of this process, be part of this creative process, because it's more than just giving money. You're not asking people just to give money. You're asking people to take part, be creative with you, because by funding this album, they get to take part in the creative process, which is beautiful.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad that you touched on that. And I think, you're helping me, I stop at like authenticity, and then you're like, yeah, but this is what you mean by authenticity, which is really great. It's really helpful for me to like, with my thoughts of, because this is a colossal season in my life that there's a lot of shifting and a lot of moving. And so it's good to recognize that. But you're right. The being a part of, I don't know. That's why I do it. And so, it's not fun otherwise. Like if somebody was like, hey, Amy, here's 12 grand, go make an album, I'd be like really grateful, honestly. If anybody out there wants to give me 12 grand, that'd be cool. But you know what I'm saying? There is that. I'm a scrappy individual, and I like togetherness. I like collectiveness.
I loved the movie Rudy. In
right. Yeah, exactly. It's I am Rudy. But it also, in regard to the album and being a part of, I was joking about donations feeling like little ass slaps, like slaps on the ass, but, and like I used that, and I got a lot of, virtual ass slaps that day, which was nice, but I was using it to not as a tactic, but as I'm just bottling up energy and expressing that energy. Yeah. What is this song? I'm bottling it up, expressing it. What is this post? I'm bottling up my energy, and I'm just trying to express it as authentically and as relatable as possible. So yes, it literally feels like a little slap on the ass, like a Rudy slap on the ass. Like you go,
good
like
job,
if it's
Rudy.
$5,
yeah.
If it's $100, if it's whatever. And because it is, right? Literally it's like Jake gave me $20 today. Jake, and that $20 on that bar means like the last 45 seconds of my 7th song.
That's awesome.
And that's dope. So Jake's now in that last 45 seconds. And that's how I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
And so when I'm asking folks for money, I'm like, you can do the whole, like, every dollar counts thing, and we all hear that, but we're all blinded by messaging like that all the time. Right. So like, how do you cut through? Everyone is asking everybody for money and telling them that they should care about 1,000 different things. And how do I recognize that, like, mine's an album? There are things that they could care much more about and give their money to above my album. And I recognize that. And I, in fact, please empower that. But if you are at a point where you can still feel like, no, I let's do this together. Like, let's do it. We're in a pandemic. Shit is crazy. We're all figuring everything out. I feel like this is like a rebirth of so many different people and things for many different people. And so, like, how can we do what we can to keep that connection in this time where really we're all spinning the fuck out?
Right.
And like, for me, that's music, and like sporting a t-shirt with a skeleton on it, smoking a joint in front of right in front of, that's my merch I just put out, like, and then in front of the flat irons, and like, and rallying around, like, hell yeah, like the simple things. Like my buddy Amy that I went to high school with is putting out this album, and we haven't talked in 10 years, but fuck it. I'm giving her $50. I want this thing to happen. And that's dope. And I love seeing that. It's like, I had math class with that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is dope. And like that love, that energy, that's why I like this incremental giving, because it is that. It's those little stories.
And it empowers people, because like, not everyone has been able to follow their creative dreams. And by helping you, they also kind of feel some of their own, maybe they can pull it off someday. Maybe they can take that risk someday and try something. Or maybe it's something different for them. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's taking a baking class. Maybe it's starting up their own business. You never know. But I think when you see one person taking steps toward their dreams, it empowers everyone around them. And especially if they can take part in it. And I think that's where it's not just that you're asking people to donate money to you, you're also giving them back a gift. The gift of taking part in helping someone achieve their dream. That's powerful.
And like, I want them to listen to this album and be like, this is my album.
Hell yeah.
Like, I always, even if they didn't give money, I want them to feel that way. But like, because that's the ultimate gift of like, I made this and it felt good and it feels like something that's important to me, and I know what it feels like to me, but I'm not going to try to define it for you here.
Yeah. Like,
that's what I'm doing with my album. And like, so for them to be like, I mean, it's the ultimate form of love and support and being seen, right?
Yep.
Is like, oh, she's making something that she cares about. I trust that process for her. And I know I'm going to receive it, and I'm stoked to receive it. And I don't know what it is. Yeah. Here's $5. That's badass. Like, how can I not, people are asking like, how am I? And I'm going through all these things. Like I'm getting a divorce. Like there are a lot of things in my life that are, fundamental shifts that are, things that could cause folks to be like, how's Amy? You know what I mean? But it's like, how can I wake up in that energy every day of like the world. It's like, yes, we have loss and we have these things, but if you are living your fundamental truth, how can you be disappointed? Right. And I think that that's kind of what I'm trying to do is like, what is this album? Fundamental truth. What am I doing right now? My truth. I'm trying to, for the first time in my life, take a look at like what I like to do, what I want to do with my life, and make sure that lines up, because I'm tired. I don't know. I guess it's just a part of growing up. You start to realize like you're your own person, and you don't have to have a life that looks this way because you were conditioned to have a life that looks this way. It's picking up your own script, right? Like, versus like what your family gave you or what society told you. And, and I am blessed enough that I get to share that with people.
That's awesome.
Honestly, that's dope. That's what being a musician is, right? It's like, we like get the chance to like scream about it in whatever way that we want, and folks get to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like everybody's going through that. Yeah. And I think maybe that, that's a little cliche, right? But like, maybe that's why it is everybody's album. The same thing that you were saying, like the baking class or the whatever, like it's all in the name of community, I guess is what I'm saying. For me, like it is their album. Like I hope that when they listen to track 4, it takes them wherever they need to go. Awesome. And like, so when I'm asking for $5, it's like, I'm so stoked for your experience. Help me fund your experience. Like that's what it feels like. Because I know my experience with these songs, they're coming from me, but like the life breathing, the life giving part of it for me is to say, now it's yours, And so how cool is it when folks can give what they can to something like that on a personal level. And then also, if they end up listening to the music, that's badass to look back on.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say that's awesome. I hope that people can donate some, and I want to thank you for coming on and talking about this. This is I'm looking forward to it.
It's always so good. Yeah, me too. It's always so good talking to you. Thank you so much for your time and
no worries. It's awesome.
Helping me get all this out, man. It's a lot. It is. It's like how do you take an Indiegogo campaign and unwrap it? Right. I mean, I think we just did it, but it's messy under there, but it's exciting, and I'm really, really, really stoked. Thank you for the conversation.
No worries. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I'm certain you're going to get this money. Just got to keep at it, you know.